Hi there. This is Sam Brown Petsonk. I'm the running to be your next Attorney General here in West Virginia, and I'm a native of Morgantown. I'm a ninth generation West Virginian. I love this state, and I know how good our people are. And that's what kind of drew me into the political process. I've not been a politician before, but I worked for our U.S. Senator Robert C. Byrd the last several years that he was with us in the United States Senate. I learned a lot from Senator Byrd, and I have spent my law career here in West Virginia representing mostly coal miners and working people across West Virginia. We've delivered millions of dollars in wages and severance pay with the downturn in the coal industry, fighting for black lung benefits for hundreds of West Virginia coal miners and working people, across the state. Looked out for fair wages and benefits and promoting workforce development and economic opportunity. And those are the big challenges. I've also worked with county governments on broadband, trying to, promote better infrastructure and land use planning around the state. There's a lot of work to do to get things firing on the right cylinders in West Virginia, and watching politics, and people have come to me and they've said, this Attorney General's office has gotten to be so much more important in West Virginia and around the country. It's such an important opportunity for us to provide leadership in state government. And folks asked me to get involved in the race, and here I am. I got into the primary because I felt that we need to bring together a coalition in the cities and in the South to help our state to pivot and make our way more successfully through this sort of really difficult economic spot that we've been in with the loss of so many thousands of coal mining and other primary industrial jobs. I know we can do that. I learned a lot about how to do that from Senator Byrd, and I've worked at it in my law practice. So I was asked to address my biggest accomplishments of the last 4 years and how I envision the next 4 years. So first of all, as to the last 4 years, I've been in the weeds, down in the thick of things, down across central and southern West Virginia, representing coal miners that are laid off. We fight for severance pay so that people and communities can get some financial resources when they lose a major employer locally. Our state needs to be doing more of that. We have seen hundreds, thousands of coal miners lose their jobs unexpectedly in some of the hardest working and lowest income counties in our state, and that leaves a massive black hole in the budget of the local governments. And we've delivered millions of dollars to coal miners across especially southern West Virginia, Wyoming, and McDowell counties, and that means an immense amount to me. And I think it's helpful to the community, to the local government, to the workforce there, to receive that support so that people can pivot and go back to school and try to look for a job down the road in some other mines or some other industries. And that has happened because of the breathing room that people have received through my cases, and that's what I set out to do. And people, if you've watched the news, you've seen I was involved in representing the black jewel miners. That was a big problem, a big layoff situation. We had 1,700 employees of the Black Jewel Company, just about roughly across the country, but many of them were in Central Appalachia, West Virginia, and Eastern Kentucky, Southwestern Virginia, and those guys lost a month's worth of wages essentially. And we've proposed a settlement in that case of $17.5 million to get some money back into the payroll and the wage base in the communities that were affected by that. I hope that the court will allow us to go forward with that settlement. It's an important one, and that's the kind of wage work that I've done, helping communities, helping coal miners, and certainly I fight for black lung benefits. That's a major problem. It's really gotten out of control the last few years. Overexposure to silica and coal dust. And so I represent people trying to secure compensation and promote safety and health grievances at the mines to improve the protections and prevent young people. We've got miners my age, in their 30s, in their 40s, coming down with complicated and significant black lung disease, and we can do better than that. I've also litigated to protect our schools. You might have followed, we sued the state a couple of times over the schools in Fayette County. Our state constitution includes a fundamental sort of a right to a thorough, efficient, adequate, and equitable and free public education for our children. And I've worked to make sure that our courts and our business community are on the same page to uphold that obligation. It's so important, and as Attorney General, I will be very focused on that as well. So brings me to the next 4 years. There's a lot to do. There's not much that is not touched. The Attorney General has several primary obligations. first and foremost is in the arena of healthcare. Right now, there's federal litigation that poses a definite and direct threat to eliminate health insurance for a couple 100,000 West Virginians, hardworking West Virginians. These are people who are, working across our state who would lose their health insurance if these federal lawsuits are effective. And in fact, West Virginia has signed on under our current Attorney General. West Virginia is a party to one of these lawsuits that would eliminate health insurance for about 200,000 West Virginians. It would create a massive impediment to financial progress for our families if we lose health insurance, especially during this massive economic recession and downturn that we're grappling with right now. So I will fight to make West Virginia safe from that loss of health insurance. We can't afford to lose health insurance for over 1 in 10 West Virginians. It would be a catastrophe. And especially importantly, on that score, our hospitals need for health insurance to be there for our people. Hospitals are some of the biggest and best employers across our state, and we have lost at least 4 major hospitals in West Virginia over the last year and a half or so. Ohio County, that is Wheeling, Fairmont, Bluefield, Williamson, 4 major hospitals, and the Attorney General has a really important job to be active in the process of hospital mergers and acquisitions and negotiate when investors come into West Virginia and try to acquire our hospitals. We need an Attorney General to do what most other attorneys general around the country have done. That is negotiate protections for their communities to prevent so much dislocation, displacement, and disaster if the hospital were to fail. And in Pennsylvania, the Attorney General has done that, and in North Carolina and so many other states, the attorneys general have done their job to protect our communities. We've got to do that, and I will. And I've studied the healthcare business. I know how we can do better. I'm ready to get in there and do it and use our economic planning and pre-feasibility laws to get the specialty care, the behavioral health services to be more stable, reliable, and supportive for our law enforcement, our local governments, and our people. So we need to do a lot more in the healthcare space. We need to do more on schools and broadband. I've described how I've worked with counties to improve schools, to protect community schools, and to improve broadband so that if we do have consolidated or online services, that we have the broadband backbone to get good quality education out and enrichment services out to our students. The Attorney General has the tools to support county governments in building better broadband to get services, especially educational services, out to our outlying counties. So I hope that people would be in touch with me. I hope I'll have your support. samforwv.com.